Hi everyone, I'm here today to present the course evaluation criteria I propose for Course Management 700 at West Cliff University. This presentation will focus on the proposal I made, reasonings behind the proposal, and the influence tactics and type of power I will use to influence the instructor to make the change. To start with, let me share the evaluation criteria, including activities and assessment designed backwards based on the learning outcomes I made. Firstly, I propose that instead of giving credit only to class attendance, we should increase the grading weights of class participants to encourage students actively participate in class discussion. For those students who don't get the chance to speak in the class, they can still gain the points by submitting a minute paper or one sentence summary after the class to show that they have actually paid attention to the class content and the topics we discussed in the class. Secondly, I suggest that we should create more assessment promoting critical thinking. Some examples include mind mapping and reflecting papers. Thirdly, I recommend that we should add one group assignment to the course design, which can be a group project with presentation and peer assessment among the group members. The last proposal I made is to adjust the difficulties of assignment over the progress of the course. We can start with relatively easier assignments that encourage student engagement at the early phase of the course and then gradually increase the difficulties over the course. Now, please let me elaborate more on the reasoning behind the evaluation criteria I proposed. I will speak from the following 5 factors: environment, values, motivation and rewards, teams and a group, as well as communication. Class environment perceived by students can impact their performance. Improper and unfavorable environments lead to stress and resistance. Students should be also accountable to play a role in creating an interactive learning environment. This accountability can be assessed by the participation. In terms of values, it's believed that personal value influence students in choice of learning approaches and automatically influence their academic achievement. It is impossible to design a course that satisfies each student's value. We can align the course objectives with some of the common goals of majority of students. We also need to know that graduate students have different goals from undergraduate ones. Graduate students focus more on things beneficial to their long-term career or learning outcomes, such as improving the critical thinking abilities, mastering the skills and knowledges that help them to do professional and academic researches. Motivation and rewards is another factor impact my proposal. The purpose of rewards is to attract and motivate performance. So by rewarding on the active participate and giving easier assignment, we want to motivate the students by helping them to build confidence. People are more willing to do things they feel good at, and it also satisfies the needs of self-achievement of the students by getting a higher score at some assignment at the early phase of the course. It's also believed that small group and cooperative learning leads to greater academic performance. Positive group experience contribute to learning success. Group project can allow students to establish a small group that they can share identity with other members. It satisfies the needs of belongingness for students. It also helps them to develop new approaching and obtain diverse perspectives on the same topics. It enhances their collaboration skills, and it allows them to tackle complex tasks that cannot be done by their own. Communication is another important factor in my proposal. By giving credit to participation, we want to create an interactive learning experience. Interactive learning is a two-way communication between professor and students, and the group project proposed also provides opportunities for students to receive and give feedback from and to the peer students. Speaking of the tactics and the power to influence, the influence tactic I will use is the rationale persuasion. I will show the rationale and benefit of the evaluation criteria I propose and support the proposal with fact and research data. I will also use my personal experience as a student for reference to show why I think those criteria and activities can motivate students. The power I will use is persuasive power. It's one type of personal power that related to my ability to persuade with logic and facts. As a student, I have fewer legitimate power and have no control on changing the criteria of the course. And I also do not have much advantages of gaining information and or expertise on course design. So I don't have expert or information power on this topic. I will use the persuasive power. Here is the references that I use to generate the presentation material. Thank you for your listening.